2025. Please rise while Councilman Shetty leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, this is a new day that you have blessed us with, and I thank you for the life and breath you've given us as we gather here in this room, all of us that are here today. For whatever reason, whatever city purpose we have, Lord, but we are here to move forward as a team, as a community, Lord. And so I pray to guide us in our decisions today, and thank you for those you are called to help manage the city, and those who are helped to work in development of a city. And there's just so many entities, Lord, all the staff, all those who help make a city move forward, Lord. We also pray a blessing, Lord. We pray for you to bless this building, this new city hall, Lord, the council chambers, the city hall itself, just the entire property, Lord. We pray your blessing, Lord, over this, that again we look to you for wisdom in the months and years to come. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Interim City Manager.
Okay, there we go. Here we are. Jurens?
Please call the roll.
Jurens? He's on there.
Gotcha.
Okay. Peters?
Here.
Shetty?
Here.
Tupper?
Here.
Bueller? Here. Danforth? Absent? Helene?
Here.
Thank you.
Quorum is established. I have one slight change to make to the agenda. I'm going to basically just switch B and C around. We're going to be doing C in second place, and then the appointment of the city manager in third place. Okay? With that slight change, can I get a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Motion made by Councilman Bueller, seconded by Councilman Tupper. Any questions on that? All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We're on to open forum. If there's anyone here who would like to address the council on something that is not on today's agenda, now is your time to do so. Yep. Just, got to press down hard. There. Oh, yep.
There we go. My name is Doug Allen, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to address the council from this side of the table for one more time. When I was out campaigning for city council, one of the things that I heard from a lot of people was, why do you want a thankless job like that? And it always brought a smile to my face as well, but I guess I gave a similar answer every time, and that is that I've chosen to make Watertown my home, and I saw this as an opportunity to serve the citizens of Watertown, and in my case of Ward D. But I also think that it shouldn't be a thankless job. And I think if we want people to do community service work like this, and yes, I know there's a stipend involved in it, but I think if we want people to make the sacrifices to serve, that we have to make sure that it isn't thankless. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to say particularly to Bruce and to Randy and to Mike, who I'm sorry is not here today, thank you. Thank you for your service and your commitment to Watertown. I know that you put in tons of hours and lots of other volunteer efforts that you commit to the community. And that's, I think, truly admirable. And I know I've heard Randy say he's going to continue to do that. And I'm sure Bruce will as well, and probably Mike. I just feel that you're due some recognition for all you've committed to Watertown, and I wanted to say that. The only other thing I'd like to do is to comment about the appointment of the city manager. And this is our first opportunity to meet the person that you've selected as our next city manager. And I know in 3 weeks when I'm on that side of the table that it's going to fall to us to both onboard that individual, but more than that, to see that they're successful in this job. And that's going to be a challenge. And so I hope that, I would ask that each of you, especially you folks that are leaving, that you would speak to any advice you would have for what we could do as a council that would help make this transition to a new city manager successful. Because I think it's a key thing that we have to accomplish. So if you'd be willing to do that, I'd appreciate it. And with that, thank you.
Thank you.
May I make a quick comment?
You can make a quick comment.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Normally, we don't allow comment in here, but the mayor's gave me that. I would say anytime anybody in the community ever wants to reach out to me, I'm always open, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to address the council on open forum? Or you can save it to the end too, but, yeah, Councilman Bueller?
Yeah, I just want to respond to that. Thank you very much, Doug. That was very gracious of you. And certainly, as far as I'm concerned, any council people that would like some sort of assistance, whether it be good, maybe bad, I don't know. But, you know, I'd be more than happy to help in any way I can. I do wish to continue to work with some of the boards as I move forward. But, you know, moving forward, there are a number of agendas, a number of things that we've established on as priorities, and I would certainly be happy to share those with any of you. And I think it'll be great for you to work with the new city manager moving forward. And if the city manager needs assistance or any kind of advice or history, as far as history goes, I got a lot of that. You know, feel free to ask, because I'd be more than happy to supply that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else for open forum? I'll close open forum, go to item 7A, a canvass results of the city election held on June 17th, 2025. We'll go to interim city manager Bob Zine for more information.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Yes, as part of the election process, within 7 days of the election, we have to canvass the votes. The city election was held on June 17th, 2025. For the mayor, the 4-year term, Reed Holeen by nomination. Alderperson at large is also a 4-year term. Michael Hoyer, 1,089 votes. Jason Rademski, 573 votes. So Michael Hoyer will be your at-large council member. The Ward A, another 4-year term, was Byron Calise, 251 votes. Brent Mormon, 276. Brent will be your Ward A for a 4-year term. The Ward D was Josh Y, 85, Randy Tupper, 123, and Doug Allen, 142. So Doug Allen will be your Ward D for a 4-year term. So that is the canvass of the election votes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to approve the results? Motion made by Councilman Tupper, seconded by Councilman Bueller. Any questions or comments, council? All right. All those in favor of approving the canvass results of the city election, please say aye. 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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 7C is conveyance of city property to the Watertown Development Company. I will take this one. So what we are going to do is, first off, announce something that is very rare with any city in the world, let alone in South Dakota. We have some very exciting news and a win that most communities can only dream of. When the city bought this building that we are currently in, well, I guess that building, this is new. When the city bought the Wells Fargo Bank building to make our new city hall home there, we knew that it came with a problem, which was what to do with the old city hall building. It was very old, it was disjointed, it was made for a purpose that is not something that is very conducive for most businesses in today's world. And we thought of many ideas, well, we tried to think of many ideas of what to do with it. We came up with very few. Parking lot was one of the few that we ever came up with. However, when you look at the public parking lots of Watertown. We actually have 14 within a 3-block radius of here, offering hundreds of parking spots. To tear down that building and build a parking lot would have yielded us maybe 24 spots. It would have been one very expensive parking lot, and something that we probably really didn't need, because the complaints that we got for parking were all on Kemp Avenue and right in front of the businesses. I reached out to Tim Sheen at the Chamber to see if there was any problems with parking at Thursday Night Live. He said there was not a single report. Chief Toomey said the same thing. So I and others went looking for someone who might be interested in doing something with that property. I had a lot of contacts that I called to reach out with them. The problem that we had, and we knew that we had, was the estimated costs of demolishing the old City Hall were going to be $300,000. That might be a kind estimate, but that was what I got from 2 different people just offering wild numbers. They said, this is what our estimate would be just for the tonnage included. So $300,000, might be more. February 3rd, the city of Watertown declared that building surplus with the idea that we would get out of it, perhaps sell it, move on, find some other way to move on from that property. Then, after contacting several interested parties, receiving no interest from them, I happened to be invited to a meeting in April with some developers who I have maintained a relationship with for several years. Community Development Manager Brandy Hanton and myself were requested to be in on the meeting. We went in and we met with 3 developers, Chance Ryan Wilford, and Clay Wilford. And they were interested in developing something in Watertown, but they weren't precisely certain. We were talking about ideas. This was at the old City Hall building. And I started joking with them that, you know what you guys really want to do is you want to take over this building right here. And they laughed and said, no way. And I said, I can get a really good deal for you. How about we get it for $1? Then you just have to pay demolition costs. And we joked about it, and they said, no interest whatsoever. We left with the idea of pursuing other developments. Little did I know that these gentlemen just completed building a hotel in another community, that when they got out of the meeting, looked back, they said, that hotel would fit here with only slight moderations. They came back requesting a meeting about a week later. So the 5 of us met again, and we started hatching a plan that you are going to see the fruition of right now. I'd like to actually pass it off to you gentlemen, because the glory should be yours, not mine or anybody at the city. We're just doing our job. You're the ones who are the developers who are risking your money and your expertise to do so. But this is an exciting development for Watertown. Please come forward, announce who you are and what the project is. But in short, the name of the company is Airstay Watertown LLC. So if I refer to it as such, you will hear that. So, Clay?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Councilmember. First of all, great new facility.
Oh, press the red button. Press the button to
Do I
make
have
sure.
to-
Yep, there you go. Yep.
We're
No,
good
it's
now? Okay. First of all, great new facility. It's a bit of an upgrade since the last time I was at your old one. So congratulations on that, and congratulations to the new candidates here, and thank you to the outgoing council members as well for your service. This is something we've had in the works for quite a while. We've actually done a lot of research on the Watertown community in terms of hospitality industry, particularly in downtown. We came close to doing something like this several years back, and given all the investment that the city has done in downtown, we're excited to be part of that continuation in moving your community forward. So as the mayor mentioned, our company name is Airstay LLC. We recently completed construction of a property in Clark, South Dakota, and we've designed a hotel company specifically around servicing small communities like Clark, like Watertown. Many of our investors grew up in Watertown, live here, have investments here, and we're excited to be part of the community even further as we invest in the downtown. So what we're planning to do, as you can see from the rendering we have back there, and those that I believe were passed out to you, is build a 30-room hotel on your old City Hall site. We're really kind of bursting at the seams of what we can put down there. So we actually had to include some parking underneath the facility And we'll be going to the Board of Adjustments, I believe, this Thursday to talk about our parking situation there. But we're including parking underneath the facility and then 30 rooms, ideally with some balconies that are out there as well. We're situating ourselves as an upper mid-scale hotel, so the rooms will be very nice. We have custom artwork, very nice spacious rooms with full kitchens in the ones in Clark. I don't know if that's been fleshed out for this one yet, but they're nice rooms similar to sort of the higher end of what you would see here in town already. Like I said, just excited to be here. That's the gist of who we are, what our project is. We'd be happy to answer any questions of the council at this time. Otherwise, like I said, just happy to be here and excited to move forward with the city on this project.
Thank you very much. Please stand by for some questions. I would like to offer a little bit more information for the public. So we have a contract that was drawn up by City Attorney Lisa Carrico, in which the city will convey the building to the Watertown Development Company, as the city has done with many properties in the past. And that is the template that we are following here. We will convey the building to the Watertown Development Company under a contract that specifies it can only then be sold to Airstay Watertown LLC for the purposes of building a hotel on the old City Hall site. It's the only thing that can be built. It's the only entity that can purchase it. If for some reason that does not go through, the property reverts back to ownership of the city, not the WDC. The official sale will be completed on a date between September 1st and October 1st. Airstay Watertown LLC will be responsible for the demolishing of the old City Hall building and the disposal of the rubble related to the demolition. Airstay Watertown LLC will have 24 months in which to complete construction of the hotel. Airstay Watertown LLC will agree to secure a bond that will pay $300,000 to the City of Watertown if the hotel is not completed in the agreed-upon timeframe. If for any reason the sale does not go through or the work is not completed, the ownership of the old City Hall building and property reverts back to the City of Watertown. I hope everyone can understand what a huge win this is for Watertown. We are taking something that could have been a potential big issue, having a building that we don't want, don't need, in a location that we really want some development to bring value to all of downtown and all of Watertown. For decades, I think all of my adult life, people have been saying that a hotel in downtown Watertown would be a huge improvement, a game changer. I know from talking to all of our downtown business owners recently, this is a dream come true for bringing people into town, having them stay, for some of the weddings that are here, for the people who want to enjoy some of the nightly events in the summertime. It's a huge deal. So it solves one problem by creating something that by itself would be a fantastic benefit for Watertown. So we're doing two huge wins right now. It's a win to the taxpayers because we're taking something off of the public property, putting it into tax-paying property where we're generating revenue, not only from the hotel, but from property taxes. So it's great for taxpayers as well as that. It's a good signal for the developers. I hope you guys make a lot of money on this.
We do too, Mayor.
But I also hope that this is a signal, yeah. I also hope that other developers see that this is what happens if you come forward to the city willing to work with us. We have people who want to make this happen. We'll find a way, but this is a huge win for all of Watertown. And further, it's a no-lose situation for the city. You don't get deals like this very often. So I want to thank you three gentlemen, Brandy, Lisa, or I'll say Community Development Manager Hanton, City Attorney Carrico for the work that you put in on this one, and just say thank you so much. This is very exciting for the future of Watertown. And we'll open it up for, well, first off, I will accept a motion for the conveyance of city property. Motion made by Councilman Bueller, seconded by Councilman Tupper. Any questions or comments? Councilman Shetty.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for you gentlemen for your desire to do a project like this here in town. My question, I guess, would be for this type of hotel, I'm assuming it's gonna be just an overnight type stay, but that is my question, is it gonna be extended stays at all, like by the month, or is it just like an overnight, weekend type stay?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Councilmember. The plan is for it to be overnight stay hotel.
Okay, because sometimes there's facilities that are in town even that are by the month or
Yeah.
that type of a scenario. So I'm just curious if you're gonna have that included in your business plan or not, or,
We don't plan on it being an extended stay where people are staying there for like a month at a time, but we do anticipate nightly, maybe up to week-long stays.
sure.
We will have kitchenettes for weekly stays.
Yep.
Yeah, because you mentioned kitchenette possibly, that's why I was wondering about the length of that. So, but anyway, that's just was curious. Thank you.
Councilman Tupper.
I'll learn how to run this thing before I leave, but I'll never forget the day when the mayor called me to talk to me about this, see what my opinion was. I thought like, duh, no brainer. As he said, we're solving a lot of problems. But I want to thank you gentlemen for having the vision. And it just goes to prove, as me and the mayor have talked many a times, and I know the rest of the council has too, that Watertown isn't a hard place to develop in. You just have to ask the right questions or ask the right people. It's, we're more than willing to work with people. Sometimes we don't hear the questions. All we hear is the rumblings behind the scenes that we're not very friendly. And I don't believe that's the truth, and I never will. But I want to heartfelt thanks to you guys for having that vision to, well, you didn't have it right away. You had to think about it for a minute, but evidently it didn't take you too long to call the mayor back. But thank you very much for having that vision. And I know you guys have did some other development around town also?
Yeah. and
With some apartments?
Mayor and council, yeah, various members of our investment group have done apartment buildings, businesses throughout the community, yeah. So we've, between
And in
the
the
5 of us
area.
that are part of it, yeah, we've done
Yep.
quite a few investments throughout the community.
Well, welcome to Watertown on this one, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's actually welcome back to Watertown,
Well-
because I remember early on in my mayoral career, trying to work with you, and you just had really great opportunities in surrounding communities that you took, so welcome back. Anyone else?
Just one more.
Councilman Tupper?
I do have a daughter who lives over in Clark, so I go over there quite often. I've been watching your progress over there. It's a very attractive-looking building. You guys do things first class, so.
Thank you.
All right. Any further questions or comments? All right. Thank you so
Thank you,
much
Mayor and
for
Council.
your interest in downtown Watertown and Watertown in general. With that said, all those, and I want to thank everyone involved, including our loyal partner, WDC, and everyone else involved. So all those in favor of the conveyance of the city of property will say aye, oppose nay. Interim city manager, call the roll.
Okay. Jurens?
Aye.
Peters?
Aye.
Shetty?
Aye.
Tupper?
Aye.
Bueller? Danforth is absent. Helene?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Item 7B is the appointment of a city manager and approval of the city manager contract. I guess we didn't arrange this, but City Attorney Carrico or Interim City Manager Bob Zine, you want to kick it off?
There we go. Thank you, Mayor. As you know, there was a search, which I'm sure you, Mayor, have conveyed to the public on numerous occasions. We have a city manager agreement that has been reviewed by both the council and staff, being the interim city manager, HR, and myself, as well as obviously what will be the new city manager. Basically, we have incorporated items, I would say, over the course of events of just, as we are all getting used to this city manager form of government, is just incorporating new items in terms to just keep growing in that relationship between the council and the city manager. So I feel it's a good agreement, and we'll kick it back to you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, City Attorney. So, months ago, when our first city manager resigned from the city and moved on, very soon after that, we started a process where we hired a firm to go out and find us the best candidate possible. That firm was the Robert Half Group out of the Twin Cities. I then, with the consent of the council, appointed a succession planning committee where each council member got to appoint one member to the committee. Very respected business leaders. I'd like to name them now: Rob Peterson, Joy Nelson, Scott Munger, Liam Culhane, Chris Carter, and Amber Dahl. Council liaison was Kyle Peters on that. And they went to work for a long time. They were working very hard for months and months. They went through 250 candidates, of which 90 made the first cut. After that, and after about another 6 weeks of culling through those 90 candidates, they got down to 5 that they thought were worthy of submitting forward to the city council. In the end, the city council interviewed 3. And we were in unanimous agreement as far as our number 1 candidate was. That candidate is going to be Alan Stager. I would like to, I have more to say, but I would like to thank the staff for their patience in this, all city staff. I want to thank you for this. The reason why it took a while is because everyone on council was committed to finding the best person possible for you to work with. If we did not treasure the work of the city staff so much, we would not have taken so long. If we did not value as human, if we did not value you as human beings, we would not have treated it with such reverence. But we knew that we had to pick the right person. We are confident that we have that person. I also want to thank members of the midterm review committee, because if it weren't for the work that they did to show what we as a council did not do right or could have done better, we probably would not have been to the finished product that we are here now. So we wanted, all along, we made it clear that we wanted a person with the mindset of a CEO, someone who could manage the city. We weren't looking for a special degree, we were looking for a special person with the qualities that we wanted, not the degrees that were prescribed. With Mr. Stager, we have a person with experience both as a CEO, a COO, Chief Operations Officer, and a Chief Financial Officer. He might not have officially held all of those positions, but when you read his resume, you can see what a wealth and breadth of knowledge this man brings to the position. You can read his bio, but he has moved to Watertown in 2002. He was recruited here by Terex. In his time there, his most recent job was at Dakota Bodies. At his height, he managed upwards to 1,400 employees at one time. That was very important for us. We needed someone who could work with many people in many departments. The other thing that we needed is someone who could look at the budget comprehensively for the city, because it's very large and it has many departments, lots of demands. Mr. Stager has taken part in developing and implementing a budget over $1 billion. Obviously, in a corporation that has many sites across the nation, many different departments in Watertown, that's a lot of different departments, a lot of different equipment that you have to manage. I hope that you're starting to see why the council got sold on this gentleman. He also has a commitment to Watertown. He had many opportunities to leave. He was recruited out. He was asked to leave for promotions inside companies. He turned them down because he and his family stayed committed to Watertown. That was also very important with the council. We wanted someone who was here for the long haul, someone who was committed to stay. And then finally, we wanted someone with city government experience. If you look at his resume, he hasn't held an official position in city government, but get this man talking about what he does for a hobby, and you will be surprised at how much he knows about local governance. His hobby is watching city council meetings. He says he has not missed a single council meeting since he moved to Watertown. I've missed city council meetings since I've become mayor. But that's just something that he does. He pays attention to it. He has a passion for it. When we interviewed him, he knew some things that surprised all of us. Just reading between the lines, he could see what was going on inside the city when a lot of people didn't. So that gave us a lot of assurance that not only did we have the type of person that we wanted with that background, but also someone with that heart, that passion for city governance. So as I said, when I was thinking about it to myself, we have found a person with a private sector head with the heart of a public servant. And I feel confident that we have found an extremely excellent choice to lead Watertown into the future. I would like to call upon Mr. Stager right now to talk to the council and the community. But first, before I let you talk, I need to see if anyone will make the motion to hire you. Motion made by Councilman Tupper, seconded by Councilman Bueller. Mr. Stager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, members of the council. That was quite the introduction. I was not quite expecting that, so thank you. I also want to thank this council for having the courage to think differently about this position. It's been a long process for the right reasons. I've been a candidate in this process for quite a while before the council even knew I was a candidate working with the Robert Half Group. And that ability to think differently, I think, is important. You put together the succession planning committee. It was really hard for me, being in this process for months, to not be lobbying the committee or the council or to try to influence your decision. I didn't do that. I held steadfast, and I'm glad you came up with the right decision, and I'm happy to be before you today. You know, thinking differently, whether it's hiring a city manager or planning our vision for the future, is how we're going to win against all of the other cities in the Midwest that we compete against. Just look at the big project that was announced just a little while ago with the hotel. That's how we can think differently and creatively and passionately about our community to win. And I'm excited to be part of this team. I also want to recognize the staff. You know, this morning I confirmed we have 242 permanent members on the staff of the city as of today. That's about 1% of our population. And that 1% works tirelessly every day to provide the immense services that we do. And I think we need to thank that staff and really take care of that staff. I know things have not always been great. There are problems that we need to overcome. As their servant leader, I'm confident that we can overcome the problems that we have. The mid-review charter committee gave myself and the council a great gift. We've got some very candid feedback, and we know what we need to do to ensure that we have the best staff of any city in the region. You know, the staff that we have, they do an excellent job. They really have to be at their absolute best when conditions, whether from Mother Nature or human nature, present the worst set of circumstances. This is a staff that's out there in the front, leading and providing for the public safety and the commitment to the community that we've learned to expect. You know, finally, just a little bit about me. I don't want to go into a lengthy biography, but as the mayor mentioned, I moved here 22, 23 years ago. I had no ties to the community. It was a cold call from a recruiter. Everything I've accomplished professionally and personally in building a family and a home and a career in this community, I don't think could have happened anywhere else. And I'm excited to provide the leadership to move this community forward so that we can provide those opportunities for many others. We truly are a great place to live and thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for making that clear. I want to make it perfectly clear to everyone in Watertown, Alan never contacted anyone on council, never anyone on staff. He submitted his application to the Robert Half Group, people who did not even know him. And I don't even think geographically you were listed as where you lived. but they still went through it and submitted his name forward. Then the succession planning committee went through it. And it was only after that they felt comfortable that I even knew the name. And then it was only close to when we got the three finalists that anybody on council even knew that he had applied. So just want to make sure that nobody can say that this was anything other than just completely above board. I also want to say, I did want to name the midterm review committee because they did put us in this place where I think we can succeed by thinking boldly. And that is Kyle Lallam, Elliot Conander, Steve Thorson, Alicia Holine, Dan Gabriel, Nathan Graff, and Jan DeBerg. I apologize if I forgot someone, but thank you to all of them. I will open it up for questions and comments from council. Councilman Tupper.
First off, congratulations, Alan.
Thank you.
And it was a long, drug-out battle. But I got something to say to the staff. We've been without a city manager for 7 months. Our interim city manager, Bob Zine, stepped up to the plate, and we haven't missed a beat. I know she couldn't have did it without all of her staff, all the staff within the community. Every department head we had to step up to the plate. And they did it, like I say, without skipping a beat. I know these members of the council, we had to step up the plate a little bit. We were all ready to, because we wanted to make, I'll tell you what, the review that we took from the mid-term review committee, that was pretty brutal. But it was brutal but honest. And we learned that we did make some mistakes. We're not perfect. Whoever sits behind these desks are gonna make mistakes. As long as we learn from those mistakes and move forward. And I think this was a kind of a wake-up call for all of us. But like I say, the staff couldn't have did it without them. 7 months without a city manager. We didn't miss a beat. Personal thank you to Mayor Holine. He took a part-time job and turned it into about a 70, 80-hour-a-week job for the last 7, 8 months. He didn't need to, but he did. I always tell him he's got that big W on his chest that nobody can ever wipe off. But personal thank you to everybody. Every department head out there had to do things a little bit differently. And thank you very much, Kristen. You did a great job. But I know you couldn't have did it without everybody's support.
And before the accolades continue, which I'm sure that they will, I do want to say, part of the reason why we could comfortably take as long as we did to vet it is because things were running really well. I think what we showed in the last 7 months was what excellent people we have, especially in our department heads. They stepped up, they did their job. We made it very clear to Mr. Stager in our conversations over the last couple of weeks that his job was not telling the department head the department heads what to do, but just leaning into their expertise and letting them do the great job that they already do. That's what the intent of the city manager has been all along, and especially for Watertown. That's what we want, what we need. But a special thank you to Kristen Bob Zine. Yeah, you really did step up. You did a fantastic job. It's been a pleasure working with you all this time that I've been on council, but you really did do a stellar job stepping in. Any further council questions or comments? No. Councilman Bueller?
Just like to welcome you aboard. I think we made the right pick.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right. Thank you, everyone. All those in favor of hiring Alan Stager as our next city manager and approving the contract will say aye. Opposed, nay. Interim city manager, please
Okay.
call the roll.
Here we go. Okay, Jurens,
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Shetty,
Aye.
Tupper,
Aye.
Bueller. Holine,
Aye.
motion carries.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Any city council member announcements or topics for future discussion?
Well, of
Councilman
course-
Tupper.
Of course, it's getting close to 4th of July, you know, so, I've been out beating on doors, knocking on doors. The residents of Watertown and the companies have been very generous as usual. I got a very late start with the, campaigning I was doing. I'm gonna meet with Mayor Holane in the next day or two to give him a list of ones, but, you know, that's the great thing about staying active in the community. It's easy. Watertown is a great town. And we're gonna have a heck of a party on the 4th, because we're gonna have the largest fireworks display in the state, and we couldn't do it without everybody in the community, so my hat's off to them. If you wanna hear the best rendition of the national anthem, Mr. Bueller's gonna be there. That'll probably be our last time, no, we're gonna have a council meeting after that. But, no, we'll be, making some phone calls and knocking on some doors, and we couldn't do it, like I say, without the great, community that we live in, and we're gonna have a heck of a blast on the 4th, so. We will have a consumer shoot on the 3rd at Premier Softball Field. Please go down there, and then you won't have to see our chief of police for shooting them in your yard, or one of his officers, but, that's, you know, for everybody that lives in Watertown, it is against the law to shoot fireworks, so you're allowed to come down there. Then the thing will kick off about 5:30 in the park at Anza softball, or soccer field. Usually brings 12 to 14,000 people to the show, so come one, come all, I guess, so thank you.
Any further comments? Councilman Beeler.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few comments as I leave this position. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the new council people. I think the campaign went really well. And I'd like to also thank Kristen for all your work as the interim city manager. It did go without a hitch. In fact, I even said, let's get her, you know? No, I did, just kidding, Al. But no doubt she could, you know, you gotta look at Del Rapids or somewhere, I don't know. But, I am kidding.
Out of order.
I'm kidding. I am kidding. No, but, you know, I just want you to know that the folks that are taking these seats, you know, you've inherited just a phenomenal staff. I mean, really, to the person, they've all been really, really good to work with. They take every advantage of training that they can get. We've been fortunate. It made our job pretty darn easy most of the time. But I will just, you know, just mention a couple of things to you folks coming in, but that you need to do the work. You could come to these meetings, you know, a couple times a month and probably get away with it. But there are work sessions, there are other meetings that they call with different organizations. There's ongoing work that needs to be done all the time. And as you come in, make sure you do the work. Make sure you get on these boards, committees, and help out. Make sure that you research things. Make sure that you just use common sense in your decisions. And the biggest thing, and I say this all the time, is to listen. Listen to your constituents and listen to the staff. Their expertise can help you through a whole lot of stuff. The other thing is to make sure that you study that home rule charter. You probably have, but if you haven't, make sure you understand that very, very well. And, you know, be responsive to your constituents. I can't say that I always was, but for the most, I tried to be responsive to their questions, concerns, and kind of keep your eyes open for any personal agendas. This is no place for that. You know, police yourselves. Don't let that occur. The other thing I would say is make sure that you keep harmony amongst the group. Try to work together. If there's issues, negative issues, you need to work them out. You know, figure it out so we can all work together. The councils I've been with in the last several years, they've been great. We've always been able to work together. There was no animosity. We disagreed on things. And, you know, Tupper and I, we arm wrestled out in the parking lot a couple times. But, yeah, well, that's outside. That's what we do outside. That'll be my new job, is a personal trainer and hot yoga instructor. But anyway, those things are really important, that you work together. That's going to help you out a lot, I think. And then obviously you've got some big projects that you got to sort through. and you got to consider all the time the safety and health of the citizens of Watertown. Make sure that, safety and health are paramount in a lot of the decisions that you're gonna be making. One is the East Fire Station, that's one of the big ones you're gonna have to look at. Flood control, that's been the 500 or 5,000 pound elephant in the room for a long time. We gotta keep moving forward with that. That's just my opinion. You'll obviously do things your own way, but the new street department is very important. That's been kicked down the road for many, many years, and it's important that we do that at some point. The sooner the better. And, just the big thing too is fiscal responsibility. As you all know, coming on board, the budget is one of the biggest things that you're gonna work with. That's the most important responsibility that you've got. But childcare, workforce housing, industrial development, that's something we gotta continue to work with. But, mainly, a lot of the quality of life in Watertown, which we've worked with for a long time, with the development of a lot of the facilities that we've got in the community. This town has just done a phenomenal job of stepping up to the plate to help those things happen. And so I hope that you'll continue to work with those things. And that's about all I have. And I just want to say that it's been a true honor and pleasure to serve with these folks right here. And even Danforth, Lynn, I'm talking about you too, buddy. But anyway, that's all I have to say, and thank you very much for trusting me as a city councilman for all the years that you have.
Councilman Jerns, I just want to make sure I give you a chance.
I can hear you, Bruce.
We'll take that as his comment. Any further council member announcements? Hearing none, is there a city manager report? There's no reason to go into executive session, therefore, I will entertain from Councilman Tupper or Bueller a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Councilman Tupper, seconded by Councilman Bueller. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, the motion is to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion
Aye.
carries. We are adjourned. Good night, and God bless you, Watertown.